Hello Scapers, 9HP here. As many of you may already know, Jagex announced that they will be removing RuneScape Classic on August 6, 2018. But what many players may not have known is that RuneScape Classic itself had the removal of skills, many before RS2 was even released. This inspired the idea for this video, so in memory of RuneScape Classic, let's get started. Now before we jump into the Classic Age skills, we are going to start with the most recently removed skill. One that many old school RS players may have actually remembered as it happened only 4 years ago in 2014. And that skill is Sailing. Sailing was a spoof skill added for the 2014 April Fool's event and was only available for 3 days before being removed from the game completely. It supposedly allowed players to create sailing boats to sail to uncharted islands. Players could only obtain a maximum sailing level of 20. Once the player got more than 5,000 experience in the sailing skill, it would reset the player to level 1 with the chat box message, Critical Error, Sailing XP Memory Overflow, resetting the save state, which is shown in the end of this video created by Rainy. There was only a single island to travel to, which was supposedly part of the Eastern Lands. You would level the skill by simply sailing to the island with a random NPC that would spawn, and then you would just travel back to the starting point, also as shown in this footage by Rainy. Sailing had been a player-driven idea since the beginning of RuneScape's history, and in August of 2015, in a development blog, was actually proposed as a real skill to players. The skill was to consist of 3 main activities: shipbuilding, navigation, and exploration, and was said to be available to free-to-play players as well. The details of the skill were expanded upon further by 3 development blogs and a trailer in August and September of 2015. This proposal was finally concluded with a poll in which players were asked to vote for or against the inclusion of the new sailing skill. The poll ran from September 10th to September 16th, resulting in 68% yes to 32% votes no. Though the sailing skill was never actually turned into a skill itself, it did take form in RuneScape 3 through player-owned ports and the release of the Ark, which allowed players to sail across the Eastern Lands to random islands that they could claim as their own for rewards and daily resources. I feel this actually could have become a skill in RS3 through the implementation of the Ark idea alone. But since that did not happen, the player's dream of the sailing skill will probably never actually make its way into the game. Coming in at number 2, we have Carpentry. Carpentry was supposed to be a skill in RuneScape Classic. It ultimately never came out, but was released. Carpentry is no longer mentioned anywhere in Classic. At first, many people assumed Carpentry had something to do with the sudden addition of empty houses added in Varrock and Faldor, along with items such as tiles, which had no use in the game until RS3, and planks, which were only used in the Dragon Slayer quests at the time. Instead, the initial idea was that the empty houses would be an early form of player-owned houses. However, as RuneScape Classic gained more and more popularity, they changed the idea to make them available only to clans in an effort to boost the community aspect of the game. This concept, however, was put on hold and eventually scrapped as there simply would not be enough houses for everyone. Due to the large increase of players at the time, and as we all know RS today, it would not be able to happen on the surface world of the game. It was not until May 31st, 2006, with the release of the construction skill in RS2, that player-owned houses would finally become implemented into the game, as they were instances instead of actual surface world houses. Coming in at number 3 is Tailoring. Tailoring was an early crafting skill dedicated to crafting and tanning leather. At the time, not many players trained it due to the fact that it was not only very time-consuming, but also served little purpose as players could only make gloves, boots, and leather armor with the skill. Since crafting was already a skill alongside tailoring, players argued the difference between the two, and in early 2001, tailoring was removed and its concept was combined to crafting on June 23rd, 2001. Coming in at 4, Influence. Influence was a former skill and an early form of quest points, as completing quests at the time would give a certain amount of influence experience. Influence could be used to buy silk from the silk trader in Alcarad at a lower price, and more generally speaking, it had intentions to persuade non-player characters to do things. Influence was reworked into what is now known as quest points on May 10, 2001. The act of actually influencing an NPC in-game was not implemented until 2005, when the item Ring of Charos was introduced into RuneScape 2. Coming in at number 5, we have Good Magic and Evil Magic. Good magic and evil magic were two skills that existed when RuneScape Classic was first released. They were both removed on May 24, 2001, with a new update titled New Magic System Online, in which the two skills would become one, creating the skill we all know today as magic. It's also worth noting that summoning was a proposed addition to the magic skill, which would have allowed players to summon monsters. It would have used Life Rune, which can only be found within the game's data files. This was, however, later implemented in RuneScape 2 as the summoning skill. And additionally, or number 6, is Pray Good and Pray Evil. Pray Good and Pray Evil were also two skills that would later become one. These two pray skills were the early forms of prayer that existed when RuneScape Classic was first released. The skill was pretty pointless as it lacked any prayer abilities, which caused players to speculate its future, many of whom were hoping for necromancy-like abilities to summon dead minions. They were both removed on May 24, 2001 alongside good and evil magic with the release of the new Magic System Online update, creating the skill we know today as prayer. Also, something worth noting would be hiding. While hiding was not listed as a skill, it was an equipment bonus that existed very early in RuneScape Classic's history. It was intended to help keep aggressive monsters away from players, but this was never implemented. Instead, several aggressiveness behaviors from different monsters were incorporated into the game. Using the camouflage spell on the good magic spellbook would increase the player's hiding stat. Though hiding was listed under equipment bonuses, no equipable items actually gave a hiding bonus. On May 10, 2001, only weeks before good and evil skills were removed, the stats list was reorganized and the hiding bonus was removed. And a small last notable mention is that Herbler was first called Herblaw, and woodcutting was simplified to just woodcut. I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. This brought back a ton of nostalgia from back in my RuneScape 1 days, and it's really sad to see Classic go. Anyways, I really hope you guys enjoyed seeing how the Gower brothers envisioned the game in its more earlier days, and how Jagex would later change the game to become what it is today. With a game like RuneScape and all of its history, I would really like to get back into some of my more classic roots and dive deeper into this. So if you guys would like to see more videos like this, please give the video a thumbs up. I hope you guys get some time on Rune Classic before it's fully removed while you still can. Happy scaping, 9HP out.